There is little doubt that the crowd tonight will exceed capacity. Capacity being $90,000. 90,000 fans, beg your pardon, as Alabama comes to town to take on the Florida Gators. There's nothing quite like the SEC on CBS, especially in prime time. Nighttime at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium on the campus of the University of Florida in Gainesville, as two teams with great reputations gather here for the first time since 2006. We welcome you to the Home Depot SEC on CBS. Tonight, the Alabama Crimson Tide against the Gators of Florida. Good evening, everybody. Vern Lundquist along with Gary Danielson. I've got my dollars and my fans straightened out. We often look for analogies to give you an idea of what we expect. And tonight, Gary, I think this is a heavyweight battle.
You know, Vern, it doesn't seem fair. What do I got, 1 minute to talk about all these matchups? Well, let's pick the key ones, okay? Because I think it's going to start with the running backs in this football game. Either the speed of Demps and Rainey are going to penetrate that Alabama defense, or Eddie Lacy and Trent Richardson are going to provide the power for Alabama, because that's the offense. That's where both coaches want to go with the game, which means the linebackers have to come through, and I think it's the next best matchup on the field. Jelani Jenkins and Jonathan Bostic are real, but Courtney Upshaw and Dante Hightower, they have proven it. And let's look at Hightower. He's obviously healthy. He's one of the great football players in college football, whether he's rushing the passer or playing in space. And he's shown this year that he's back to 100%. And even in short yardage, he is a big linebacker. Can he catch the little guys for Florida? I mean, it's a fascinating matchup.
Well, it's intriguing too, Gary, in this respect, for two teams with these great reputations, relatively unknown quarterbacks.
Well, yes. I mean, you always want to force the game to a quarterback, but in this case, it's even more important. Neither McCarron nor Brantley has produced that fourth quarter magic when they had to win a game in the SEC. And you know, both of these coaches at that fourth quarter will look to their quarterbacks and say, all right, we got you this far. I know the other guy. He's a good coach. You got to get me over the line.
About an hour ago, the handshake at midfield. It's the mentor and the student, Saban and Muschamp, back right after this. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Red Lobster, Allstate, the Home Depot, and by Bud Light.
Alabama wins their 13th national championship.
The Florida Gators have won another BCS national championship, their third national title.
Touchdown! Oh my! Touchdown, Alabama!
They got him. Intercepted. Who do you think's going to win this foot race? Brilliant run. He's in.
Keep your cameras on. This is going to get fun.
At one end zone, the homestanding Gators of Florida. And behind them, Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Nick Saban, as a head coach, making his 4th visit here. 3 times as the head coach at LSU. He is 2-1. And over the series meeting, the Alabama Crimson Tide in Gainesville have won 7 and lost only 2 to the Florida Gators. Let's go down to Tracy with Nick Saban.
Thanks a lot, Vern. Coach, it is intense in here. It is hostile. It's the first time your team has been to the Swamp. A.J. McCarron, his first SEC road start. What did you tell him before he took the field?
He'll do fine. We just got to manage the noise. We got to play through, a lot of this emotion and energy, but the best way to do that is to execute. So we just need to execute. Every guy's got to do his job. That's what they got to stay focused on.
Florida will ride Chris Rainey and Jeff Demps. How do you handle their speed?
Well, we got to keep good leverage on them. We got to do a good job on the perimeter, and we'll see what personnel groups they play. See if we can play nickel against them.
Thanks a lot, Vern.
All right, Tracy, thank you. Perfect night in Florida. 65 degrees, how about that? 50%. Winds out of north-northwest at 6 miles per hour.
It's, Vern, I can tell you from playing quarter, it's one of those nights where the football just fits in your hand. It's a perfect night for throwing the football. Let's see if either side wants to do it.
Yes. Because both have relied more on the run and outstanding defenses for both units. Although, as you've told me many, many times, now it starts to count.
Yes.
Stats up to this point.
And here's what else I think. I think this is the first game, because of injuries. Tennessee lost Hunter. Arkansas lost a couple of key players. This is the first game that legitimately Alabama or Florida could lose. Obviously, one will lose, but until this game, they couldn't lose.
Florida Gators won the toss and opted to receive, so they will do so. Going from our right to our left, the Alabama band is here, as are 10 or 12,000 fans dressed in crimson and white. It'll be Jeff Demps, number 28, and Mike Gillislee back to return the kick.
One of the interesting things about Alabama is they have not been kicking off deep. Let's watch it in the game and see if it creates field position for Florida.
Matter of fact, you saw the graphic. 1 touchback for Foster. Jeff Demps, he of the world-class speed. He tries to get around the corner, chased and just touched. Flag is down.
Yeah, Alabama was offsides. I'm sure they're going to take the play. And we saw the effect of the short kickoffs already in this football game.
Hardy Buck made the tackle. There is a flag down. Our referee tonight, Mark Curls.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, kicking team. Personal foul, number 13, receiving team. Those penalties offset, re-kick.
Wow, big play for Alabama.
Sure was. Let's take a look, first of all, at the offside.
Just a little anxious, beat the kick. And then a personal foul during the return. They offset. We'll do it again.
And it was called on number 13, D. Finley, backup linebacker, who earlier this season, there he is, sat out a game because of an on-campus infraction with the presiding officer.
This one he had an on-field infraction.
Yep.
That's a big change up here. Wonder if there'll be any different strategy by Alabama here.
Well, we'll reload. Demps and Gillisley retreat, and they expect the short kick there at the 9 and 4 yard lines respectively. Few men faster in college football than number 28, Jeff Demps.
Few men faster in all of America than number 28.
He ran a 100-meter 9.96 at the NCAA's Wind 80.
Well, Demps is clearly on the left side. Don't you want to try to kick this to the left side, away from Demps?
I would think.
And they do.
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
so Demps goes over and lets it bounce. Oh, my goodness. That's going to come out to the 40 anyway.
A little too careful. Again, a result of not being able to get that ball into the end zone with deep kickoffs.
And so, at last, we're ready to go. John Brantley, second year as a starter, the fifth-year senior, 64%, 188 pass yards per game, and much more comfortable, I would think, Gary, in this offense than he was in the spread.
Well, yeah, it couldn't have been any worse for him last year. It was not only did he have to replace Tebow, he also had to run an offense that wasn't suited to him. But, you know, we visited him Friday. He seems calm, and he knows what the game plan is, and he says he's ready to go.
Trey Burton, number 8, referred to by Nick Saban as a hybrid player. He plays any of 5 positions. He is on the field to open the game. And it's Rainey and Burton in the backfield, and Brantley will go from the spread. Whoops. We just can't get this thing started.
Been a lot of mistakes here early, hasn't it?
Still first down.
All right, let's introduce you to the Gator offense presented by Chick-fil-A. Mixon, Wenger, Harrison, Jalapeno, and Chaz Green, the right tackle. It's Frankie Hammond, Demps, and Rainey in the backfield. The 2 speedsters, Reed and Deontay Thompson. Reed back after missing 2.5 games with a hamstring injury. First down, 15. Brantley looks straight down the left side, and he's got a man open. It's caught. Andre DeBose. Touchdown. Well, now that's a way to get it started. They don't go deep often.
Well, the matchup is what Nick Saban likes. He puts his corners in bump and run and says, throw it at him.
Caleb Sturgis, an electrifying beginning to this ball game.
You know what was interesting? Even after the penalty, Charlie Weiss did not come out of that play. That was the same play they were going to run on 1st and 10. DeBose beats him right off the line of scrimmage, and Kirkpatrick, maybe their best corner so far this season, gets beat by a perfectly thrown ball.
65-yard touchdown. Gators up by 7. LG, as a proud NCAA corporate partner, presents great SEC rivalries.
Welcome to the Swamp!
Tebow. It's caught. Touchdown. Jump pass. How about intercepted in the end zone?
This guy's unbelievable. Come on now. You can't do this stuff.
This rivalry's a knockout. Oh, the Gators get out of the swamp alive.
I saw him at dinner last night. I think he stayed a little longer than we did. Rivalry notes, Alabama in the SEC championship game, 4 wins to 3. And Florida only 2-7 here. And what a quick strike. Andre DeBose, first career touchdown reception. He's returned 2 kickoffs for TDs.
And Charlie Weiss told us he should play more in this game. Yeah, that was a nice little hint.
Caleb Sturgis will kick off for the Gators.
You know, you got to wonder, Vern, would they have tried that pass if the ball was on the 20? Does the 40 make it a little more comfortable to try a deep ball? It looked to me that they were going deep ball to start the game no matter what.
And
they wanted to deliver a message.
Dre Kirkpatrick was the man beaten, the cornerback, who had just a sensational game, number 21 for Alabama in the win over Arkansas last week. Here's Sturgis. This will be Marquise Mays near the goal line. Got a little room. Gets a block. Knocked out of bounds at the 33.
Vern, A.J. McCarron, your serve.
Let's take another look at Brantley to DeBose.
Watch this. Robert Lester right here is the safety. But look where his eyes are in the backfield here and not to the outside like you might think. Okay, he's concerned with the inside. I don't think Kirkpatrick thought he had a lot of help, but the safety gave him no help on the play.
And so Brantley to DeBose, and now A.J. McCarron, first year as a starter, replacing Greg McElroy. He'll go out of the gun. Richardson is back there with him. McCarron, short pass.
Yep.
Caught by Michael Williams, a tight end, number 89. And let's tell you a little bit about A.J. McCarron, who won a battle with Philip Sims to become the starter this year. Third in the SEC completion percentage. Everything is conservative so far. 195, 4 TDs, 2 interceptions. He has not been intercepted in the last 3 games, and he hit 15 of 20 last week in the win over the Hogs. 3 wides to the left. Richardson breaks the first tackle, as he usually does.
Yes, he does.
And the Alabama offense presented by Chick-fil-A. Barrett Jones, Warmack, Vlahos, Steen, and Fluker, the offensive line. You've got Marquise Mays, Darius Hanks at the wideouts, Michael Williams, the tight end, 2 tight ends, as a matter of fact, Brad Smelly, and then Trent Richardson, who has rushed in excess of 100 yards for 3 consecutive games, including a high of 167 against North Texas State. Florida sends 4. Ball is hit, delivered late. The quarterback was. The pass is complete at the 49 to Michael Williams. And let's take a look at this Florida Gator defense. Easley, Howard, and Floyd up front. Powell, Jelani Jenkins, Jonathan Bostic, Laurenti McCray, the linebackers, and in the secondary, Roberson, Elam, Saunders, and Riggs. Chris Underwood is the tight end in motion. Richardson gets a little wiggle room and a nifty run.
We did get word just before the game that Deontay Saunders was not be playing in this football game. It is not an injury, we were told, correct, Vern?
Right, and no reason given. So Saunders, I think it's Josh Shaw. It is Josh Shaw, number 9, who is in at a safety now for the Gators. 1st and 10. Richardson around the corner, down the sidelines, and that's going to be close at the 35 for another first down. Number 5, Marcus Roberson, number 5, made the stop.
Well, one of the things that Trent Richardson does so well is not only does he get the ball with power, but what he does, what he calls presses the hole. And when you look at him, this is a man. Whether you take him on high or take him on low, you got all you can handle.
2nd and 1. Richardson cuts right, and again surges inside the 30 to the 25. Anthony Steen, number 61, appeared to be leading the way.
I tell you, he hit a bomb one way, and Alabama says, okay, you got the speed, we got the power. This time we come inside, Chris Underwood, number 87, comes off the H-back and really cleans it up on a wham-type block. Well blocked, well-designed play.
That's Kevin Norwood, who was late getting into position. Now McCarron with the change. Norwood wearing number 83. 2 wides right, 1 left. McCarron drills it. Caught at the 18-yard line by Kenny Bell, number 7. Bell is one of the speedsters on this team. Jim McElwain, the offensive coordinator, told us last week prior to the Arkansas win, we need a lot out of Kenny Bell and DeAndrew White, who wears number 2. They're the 2 speed guys at the wideouts.
Alabama, very interesting starting this game, Vern. 3 passes thrown, all on first down.
And then you give it to Richardson, and he moves the pile to the south. That should be good for another first down. William Green, number 96. Not often a starter, but always an integral part of this Gator defensive line, makes the stop.
Now, we talk about A.J. McCarron, and he's in a big ball game, but remember, to win this spot on this Alabama team, he had to fight against a good defense every day in spring and all fall, and then he had that big game, 100,000 at Penn State. That's no layup.
And Alabama won that one 27-11 as part of their unblemished 4-0 record. Out of the spread. McCarron has time. Hampered. Oh, there's a belt in the back. Marquise Mays was in the neighborhood of the pass.
We got Josh Evans, who's substituting for Saunders, sees the crossing route, doesn't know. I think it was Saunders, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was. For Saunders, was it Josh Evans? I think they were trying to get the ball to Trent Richardson. He was covered on the play.
So 2nd down and 10, 10th play of the drive. The opening play from offense, a 65-yard pass to Andre DeBose. Here comes the pressure. McCarron, nobody open, scrambles right. Looks for, he's got a man in the end zone now. Caught. No, he dropped it. My gosh. Kenny Bell eluded the defensive back and was wide open.
I think it was Jalen Watkins, number 14, thought the ball was going to be thrown early. And when he committed, the receiver doubled back deep and had a touchdown and couldn't make the catch. It would have been a tough catch, but a 6-point catch.
3rd and 10. This is where the noise factor is more important.
And no pass rush yet from Florida. A significant pass rush.
Timeout. Will the crowd affect the game? One of the questions. So time called with 9:56 to go in the opening quarter. We'll be right back. The Swamp on this glorious October evening, and the 11th play of the Alabama drive coming up. As you see, Florida yet to yield a first quarter touchdown. 3rd down 10. Blitz. McCarron with protection. Hanks, the intended receiver, no flag. Darius Hanks was there. So was Cody Riggs, number 31, and the field goal unit will come on.
It was a very nice answer, though, by this Alabama offense. An 11-play drive. They proved they could throw the ball and run the ball. Now, I think it's going to be a big part of this game, Vern. Field goals, you have to make these count. Points are precious.
Carson Tinker on to snap it. McCarron will hold it, and Jeremy Shelley will kick it. And he does, and it's now 7-3. Well, there was an opportunity to notch this thing up, as Kenny Bell could not quite catch up with the A.J. McCarron pass. Crimson Tide settles for 3. (7-3). Jeff Demps, Mike Gillisley. Well, this has been an important cut, and again, it's very short, taken at the 14. And it's Demps coming left. Watch out! And Cade Foster got him.
Big story in this game.
The kicker saved 6, but they do get it all the way out to the 41.
Start the first drive at the 40, second drive at the 41. Remember, Demps had that, what was it, ankle last year, and he wasn't effective.
Right.
He's got to run up on this one and catch it. Catches it almost in stride and finds a crease.
And that brings up a first down. Frankie Hammond breaks the huddle, goes wide to the right, top of the screen. And Brantley goes back in the spread. Guards on either side. Fumbled it.
Yep.
That was Rainey. And apparently Chris Rainey did recover for a gain of 1.
You know, it's funny. I had a guess with Charlie Weiss as we look at Demps. It's an interesting injury because they need his speed, that they might use as many as 3 or 4 tight end types in this game, and that's exactly how he has started off the game. I think he feels his best matchups are inside, although he gave the signal outside, we're willing to throw deep.
Now Demps on the sideline, limping a little bit. Here's Rainey. Toss. Left side to the 45-yard line. And let's introduce you now to the Alabama Crimson Tide defense presented by Chick-fil-A. Williams, Jesse Williams, the Australian, Chapman and Damian Square up front. So many great players on this team. Jarrell Harris, Hightower, Nico Johnson. C.J. Mosley not able to go tonight. Upshaw playing very well. Terrific secondary. Menzie, Lester, Barron, and Dre Kirkpatrick. Alabama yielding 43% on third downs this year. Here's Brantley stepping up, looking way deep, and he's got a man. It is caught at the 25-yard line by Deontay Thompson. How about this? So conservative with the play calls has Charlie Weiss been with the passing game, and he goes deep twice.
Well, I'll tell you, 3rd and 6. Ask Tyler Wilson how much time you have to throw against Alabama on 3rd and 6. This Florida offensive line did a brilliant job. That was about a 3.5-second pocket. And inside, Deontay Thompson had all day to run a deep crossing route.
First down and 10 after the 30-yard gain. Rainey is the deep back. Rainey goes right with 2 blockers in front.
He got run down by Mr. Hightower.
Yes, indeed. Pretty good speed from the linebacker. Well, asked you in the production meeting things to look for in this game.
I like to call them pressure points because in the game, something is going to pop out that a coach will take advantage of. I think yards after catch. Alabama is so good at tackling in the secondary. Now, will the crowd be a factor? And that's usually when the defense for Florida is out there on 3rd down and 3 and outs. Both teams need to mount drives.
That's Rainey in motion. Trey Burton inside shovel pass as Burton lined up in the spread with Brantley wide out, and Jordan Reed makes the catch.
Well, we always say, okay, obviously 3 and outs. I get it. But both coaches have emphasized the value of a punt in this game. That's true. But a punt on a 3 and out is no value. You need a couple of first downs, then a punt if you're going to punt the ball.
And a 3rd down coming up now. Reed back in the lineup after missing 2.5 games with a hamstring. Rainey will be in the backfield. First surprise of the night is that Charlie Weiss has gone deep with his passing game twice. Here's Brantley. Looks deep again. Goes across the middle. It's caught at the 10-yard line. They might give him the 9. Deontay Thompson.
Boy, Deontay Thompson, who has been really struggling in past years catching the football, has caught 2 big ones already. But again, all the time to come all the way across the formation. And what a great matchup. He was against Will Lowry in the middle of the field. That's a matchup that Weiss has to love, calling plays for Florida. It's been the pass rush, though. Usually you think Alabama's going to put the pressure on the quarterback. So far, nothing.
Play action. Brantley goes for Rainey in the flat. Got him. And he can't stay in bounds. Out of bounds near the 4.
Fake it to Rainey. Now watch, Brantley will look downfield. Nothing there. Time clock says I got to get rid of it. He gets rid of it and leads Rainey a bit out of bounds, but still a good completion.
Yeah, as agile as he is.
One thing I can almost bet on, we were not going to see a jump pass here.
It happened on the first drive in this battle last year, and Trey Burton threw an interception to Nico Johnson. I think you're right. Brantley, fade, got him. He looks back for assurance. Andre DeBose.
How about that?
Now watch the side judge look back just to make sure he's got the call correct.
It was a perfect throw, but was his foot in the field of play or the end zone? Catch is now. Is his left foot dragging? It is.
Yes.
It is.
Good call. Good piece of officiating.
But the ball kind of keeps coming out. Did he have control of it?
All right.
Left foot's there. Does he have control of the football? Another look here.
Bobby Morrow is the side judge who made the call. He looked back for help.
Clearly his toes down.
Yep.
That's not the problem. Now let's see if he controls the football. He has it there. It's called a touchdown. He's bobbling it. Does he ever have control of it? He bobbles it again. I think they may reverse this.
I think you're right. Replay official is Gerald Hodges.
The ball moves in his hand after his toe touches here. You know, it's all in the eye of the beholder, but if it was me, I think I'd reverse this. It was a perfect throw. He went after Kirkpatrick again.
The foot is definitely down. It's a matter of did he bobble the ball.
Yeah. And remember also, it is second down. They're going to get, if Florida, it is reversed. It will be third down.
Brantley and Weiss. Nick Saban says no, that's not good.
You know, interesting this year. I don't know if the fans realize, but for the first year, the coaches in the coaching box upstairs actually can hear us do the game.
That's right.
So
that's a frightening
interesting.
thought.
I could suggest some play calls and stuff like that.
The ruling is the receiver never had firm control of the ball. Therefore, the pass is incomplete. It's 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line.
Good call.
Yeah, I think it was. You know, it was great execution by everybody, and including the referees. The officials on the side looked at each other. They made sure the foot was in. Then the upstairs official took the last look and made sure it was a clean touchdown.
Well, red zone third down conversions is red zone stats presented by Verizon. They've had problems converting touchdowns. They've had to settle for field goals much more often than Will Muschamp or Charlie Weiss want. Brantley. Look at all the time he's got. And look at what the end result is. There is a flag down, and the pass ruled incomplete.
Yeah, it could be offensive pass interference here. I think it was to the outside. Deontay Thompson picked on the play against Menzie. Yes, he clearly picks. Watch this. We're going to get in there. Watch him come inside, hit Menzie, and then go for the play. He's going to get called for offensive pass interference.
How about the tomahawk chalk by Menzie?
It was too obvious, Vern.
Yep.
Everybody does it all game. What you got to do is turn around and kind of stick your rear end into the guy, not your hands.
Pass interference, number 6, offense. Penalties decline, 4th down.
An old Gator was the best at it.
Really?
Chris Collinsworth could pick better than anybody I saw. And they ran that Lindy Infante offense for the Bengals, and he never got called.
Might hear a retort on Sunday night. There's a chance.
And he did it against us Browns, too.
I got you. Caleb Sturgis has hit 13 in a row, 11 of 11 this year. His last miss was September 11th last season, and make it 14 in a row. Caleb Sturgis suffered a back injury after that game and had to sit out 8 full games last year, and did they miss it.
I love it. Both head coaches are clapping as their teams come off.
Another short kickoff by Cade Foster. Jeff Demps with the return. Did not see action on the series. We'll have a report when we come back. 10-3 Gators in the swamp, and an injury to Jeff Demps on that kickoff return. Take a look at it, Gary.
Yeah, it seems right at the end of the play, he gets thrown right on his left ankle. Let's see if we can isolate it for you. Yeah, right there. It looks like player falls on it. And we'll see how good he is.
For more, let's go down to Trace.
Well, guys, just like you mentioned, that's what he was worried about, that ankle. But no trainers were really paying much attention to him. He just walked on the sideline during that last series. It does not look to be of too big of a concern. Expect him to go back in, guys.
All right, thank you, Trace. I know, Gary, you are not a proponent of using your stars on kickoff
but in
returns.
this game, they need the yards.
Okay.
In this game, I think that there's no doubt that Demps and Rainey are huge on a kickoff. But there's one thing for Demps to be okay and be a 9.9600 meters. That's a big difference.
Well, speaking of stars, here is Trent Richardson back to return this kickoff for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Instead, it's another star, Marquise Mays, who bounces to the outside. Watch out! Foot race, helmet high tackle. Marquise Mays, who had the sensational punt return last week in the win over Arkansas, moves this one deep inside Alabama, Florida territory.
You know why coaches work 100 hours a week? Because you never know what might be the big part of the football game. So far, in the first quarter, the big part of this football game has been kickoffs. It has changed the whole strategy of the football game. That's why they put in 100 hours a week, because you never know where the dam's going to spring a leak.
And so the Crimson Tide, with A.J. McCarron at quarterback, opens their second possession at the Florida 29-yard line.
3 passes on first down so far.
Richardson near the 20. William Vlahos, number 73, with the block that got him the additional yards. Here's Mays. Second and 1.
Florida should be very conservative here, almost concede the first down. You don't want a trick play here.
2-man wide right. Brad Smelly loads up at tight end just off the line of scrimmage. Well played. That'll be a first down near the 16-yard line. May give him the 15.
Well, you know, Alabama's given up, 32 points all year, 10 points in the last 2 drives. But when you look at the field right here, they can do what they want to do on offense. They have to feel good about that. They've been able to run the ball when they want. They're getting between the tackles, and Richardson is Richardson, and McCarron does not look like he has any stage fright.
Good point there. First down 10. Richardson, this time hit and driven sideways. Jay Howard, number 6, was the initial man to make the contact. How about Alabama's effort inside the red zone? Not good either.
And we saw that one against Arkansas when they couldn't punch it in.
Right. First and goal from the 2. Second down. Had to call timeout.
Number 2, pressure points. I do think a very smart timeout, though. No mistakes because of crowd noise early in this game.
3 minutes and 4 seconds to go first. Alabama has used 2 timeouts. The first because the play clock was winding down. The second, without question, because of the crowd noise.
Alabama going unbalanced to the right.
Up the middle, Richardson breaks a tackle. How about that? He's alone, isn't he?
He reached out. They're not going to call that a fumble.
Jelani Jenkins, number 3, with the tackle.
It's so comfortable as a quarterback and a play caller to have that type of power inside to pick up those tough yards. Last time he just followed Chance Womack, number 65.
3rd and 4. DeAndrew White splits wide to the left. Marquise Mays and Darius Hanks. Now this is Hanks in motion. Mays to the right side. Florida blitzing. Richardson breaks the first tackle. Steps out of the second and is close for the first down inside the 5. And there is a flag.
He had thrown by the umpire in the middle of the field. Listen, Florida was down there and they had a penalty offensive, and now Alabama does.
Holding, number 73, offense. Taking out penalty from the previous spot. Still 3rd down.
William Vlahos, the center.
See if we can find Vlahos. I think that's him with the ball, if I know my football. Or was he one off? I was one off. How about that? Couldn't see it. Kind of happened out of the play right there.
And they never did signal first down, but I believe Richardson had a 1st and goal. It's 3rd and 14 at the 19 now. Mays to the left. DeAndrew White to the right. Brad Smelly sets up as an H-back. Here's McCarron. Little inside, he's got a block. It's Mays to the 5. Struggles, fumbles into the end zone, but they will rule it down at the 1. Well, Vlahos made amends. Number 73.
Well, they find ways to get the ball to Marquise Mays. This time on a wide receiver screen. He almost runs into Womack and then creases inside. You know, Vern, the coaches even for Alabama undersell their wide receivers. I think they do it on purpose. They don't want us talking about it.
18 to the 1, 18 yards, and it's going to be 1st and goal. Flag down. Thrown in the offensive backfield.
Illegal substitution.
12 players broke the huddle. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Jalston Fowler, number 45, I believe, is the man guilty of the penalty.
You know, I have noticed that as tough as the crowd is on the offense, on 3rd down in the secondary for Florida, they're having trouble communicating in the back 7. Here's the 3rd down play before. Watch the Florida players try to get each other and communicate. They did not do it well.
1st and goal.
Again, here it is again.
That was Matt Elam who was jumping up and down. McCarron tipped and incomplete. Matt Elam with the defensive job.
And he's running right over now to say, you got to look at me. Elam's going right across the formation and he's talking to Marcus Roberson. Says, you got to look at me. I'm calling the plays. When they go in motion, look at me, Marcus. He didn't. Marcus is a freshman. He'll get burned a couple times and he'll start looking for the safety and seeing what the defense is.
Marcus Roberson is the right cornerback, number 5, and he lines up now on Darius Hanks. DeAndrew White is outside. Hanks starts in motion. Blitz again. Richardson. Pretty counterpuncher. Touchdown. Alabama. What a weapon.
They have a lot of weapons, don't they? One of them is Barrett Jones, number 75, their offensive tackle, top of the screen. He comes down and crushes, opens a hole all across that line. Jones, Womack, and Blahos, they did a wonderful job springing Trent Richardson.
9th rushing touchdown of the season for Trent Richardson. Spent 2 years as a backup to the Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram. Here is the extra point from Jeremy Shelley. And Alabama has tied it up 10-10.
Watch Barrett Jones, their All-American tackle right here, how he does it. He goes right behind number 15 right there, okay? Watch how he comes inside, takes the blocking and gets his bottom in the hole and turns it around. Beautiful job by Barrett Jones.
Well, we thought we might have something stewing here in the swamp. So far, we do. Barrett Jones, number 75, leader of this offensive line. And Trent Richardson, number 3, leader of the backfield. Richardson and Marcus Lattimore now with 29 touchdowns each. And Richardson, by the way, from Escambia High School in Pensacola, which is the alma mater of Emmitt Smith.
Wow. That's one they missed.
Yeah.
For the Gators.
Right.
It's a big recruiting.
Foster's been very short with every kickoff, and he is again. This one taken at the 9. It's Solomon Patton. And he is knocked down with good field position again out near the 27. Wednesday, the new Survivor is better than ever. Coach and Ozzie are fierce competitors, but will a nerd defeat them? Just wait until you see what happens next. New Survivor Wednesday, only CBS.
Well, that was a big miss there for Florida. No Demps on that kickoff. He wasn't even out there.
First 4 games, you saw the graphic. Allowed 10 points and 10 tonight. First down and 10. Demps is on the field now, number 28.
When is Charlie going to go to the screen game? You know he has it. The screen draw. There's a screen draw, Roy.
Yep.
Fumble. They're calling it down again.
Nico Johnson was the guy who got the elbow in, number 35. Yep.
Knees were down.
Yep, they sure were.
And that's the spot that C.J. Mosley also plays. Nick Saban told us that that's a key loss. In this type of game against speed, he would have liked to have C.J. Mosley, but so far Johnson doing the job.
C.J. Mosley out with a dislocated elbow sustained last week. In the win, here's Brantley left
There's
side.
the screen
Chris
game.
Rainey, yes it is.
Oh, they're there.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Barron, number 4. With the tackle.
Well, that was an entertaining first quarter, wasn't it?
Kind of. We've reached the end of one in the swamp. 10-10. Gators and Crimson Tide will return to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium after this message and this word from your local station.
We're going at it tonight, tonight. There's a party on the rooftop, top of the world tonight, tonight. And we're dancing.
It's caught. Andre DeBose, touchdown.
Throws back in the end zone. Bell drops it.
Tonight, tonight.
Welcome back to the swamp in Gainesville, Florida, as we begin quarter number 2. Florida and Alabama tied at 10. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, along with Tracy Wolfson on a Saturday night. 3rd down 7. Blitz coming from the corner. Brantley with time. Crossing pattern. First down plus. All the way to the 50. And out of bounds, Andre DuBose, who is having a very big night.
Alabama blitzed, picked up the blitz by Florida. You see Mark Barron and the corner come. You have time to throw the ball, and there's those yards after catch. If you're going to zone blitz, there's plenty of space out there. The zone blitz is tricky, but if you block it, there's tons of grass.
Well, the ball is spotted just inside the 48-yard line. That's a gain of 25, and it's the 4th pass reception in excess of 20 yards tonight. 10-10 ball game. And the Gators, with a first down 10, they get the 43-yard line. And they've got to reset the play clock now.
Set the game clock to 25 seconds.
When you do a good job picking up the blitz, and this time it was number 11, Jordan Reed, comes back, and he's the one downfield that got the block.
And the ball at the 43, Rainey out of the backfield. Courtney Upshaw knifes through and makes the stop. So a fine defensive play by a fellow, the defensive coordinator, Kirby Smart. Smart said is playing as well as anybody on this Alabama defense.
You know, I think Nick Saban said it best. Florida has to handle the surge, Alabama has to handle the surge early in this game. There was a touchdown, but they handled it.
Right.
They handled it doing what they do, running the ball, playing tough football, and their quarterback came through just enough on those throws to keep them honest.
Well, that was interesting. Chris Rainey never moved.
Yeah, it was a missed snap, a mistimed snap there.
See the wristbands on Rainey? We talked with him when we were here a couple of weeks ago. There are 14 of them in all.
Go ahead, you handle that.
I couldn't. Nope. No. Oh my goodness. 3rd down. Florida already tonight with 143 yards. Brantley under some pressure. Intercepted by Upshaw. Got some blocks, has some room. And he is going to go unimpeded for an Alabama touchdown. How do you do?
You know, on this one, it was not a design drop. This wasn't a scheme. This was just Upshaw getting blocked by Nixon and falling into the play. There's nothing that could have been read by the quarterback. It just happened, and again, Alabama scores with their offense not on the field.
Courtney Upshaw, who tonight is starting his 45th consecutive game for the Crimson Tide, with a 45-yard pass interception return for a touchdown.
Now watch right here. Here's the matchup. Upshaw is trying to get to the quarterback. Xavier Nixon does a good job. He stones him. He tries to change direction and wham, right in his stomach. That wasn't a Kirby Smart or Nick Saban scheme. That was just the luck of the draw.
Upshaw takes advantage of it. Crimson Tide first lead tonight. Welcome back to Florida Field at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, known as the Swamp. Aerial coverage of the SEC on CBS Sports, provided by Southwest Airlines. Courtney Upshaw, first career interception, first career touchdown. And on the left, John Brantley, his 3rd interception of the year, this time a pick 6.
Part of playing quarterback, now you just got to buckle it up and show that you're the quarterback that the staff believes you are and your teammates are looking you to be.
Solomon Patton is back. Jeff Demps has not returned a kickoff since he suffered a slight ankle injury earlier in the first quarter.
Big difference, isn't it?
Oh, my goodness.
All right, so what happened, right? I mean, 3rd and 17. Florida's just trying to dump the ball. Alabama's going to play a deep umbrella zone right here. Now, look, right when he throws the ball. That looks safe, right? That's who he's trying to throw the ball to. There's the block right there. Throws it off his back foot. Throws it short. Nick Gentry probably could take just as much credit for that poor throw because the bad footwork by John Brantley cost a very poor throw on the play.
And recall that C.J. Mosley had an interception returned for a touchdown in last year's Alabama 31-6 win in Tuscaloosa. On first down, out to the 30. Let's go back to the studio for this John Hancock update. Here's Tim Brendo.
Vern, I've got another team for you to put on your national radar. It's Clemson on the road at Lane Stadium today. Here's Mike Bellamy taking it 31 yards for the score. The combination of Taj Boyd and Sammy Watkins really outstanding. 23-3 they win. They're 5-0, first time since 2000.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Didn't see that one coming back in August.
Well, my partner over here, David Moulton, did. He told me all the offseason that Clemson was the team to watch. Once in a while, he's right. He makes 87 predictions.
Here's the run around the right side. It's Demps. Nailed by Dre Kirkpatrick, number 21. Kirkpatrick, who had 6 hard tackles and 3 pass breakups last week.
Everybody who goes against Alabama says the same thing. You better be balanced. Charlie Weiss told it. Will Muschamp told us that. So far in this game, Florida, 0 yards rushing. 8 runs for no yards.
Kirby Smart, who was a teammate in college of Florida coach Will Muschamp, and they were also on the staff at Valdosta State together in 2000. That's when Muschamp met Nick Saban and was in, low snap. Brantley. Again, he's got a lot of time. He finds Demps.
Look at close space, though.
Dre Kirkpatrick.
They close the space. When they play zone, Alabama gets a lot of credit for playing man-to-man coverage, but they are a great zone team, too, and as good a tackling secondary as there is in college football. If there's one difference in this game, I think, Richardson is one with the power, but the Alabama secondary, they can make a lot of plays.
David Lerner is on to punt for only the 12th time this season. A little bit of a rugby style. And here's Marquise Mays up and under and belted. No 83-yard return on this one. 40-yard punt. Nothing on the return. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC continues after this word from your local station. Difference in the ball game right now. That 45-yard pass interception return for a touchdown by number 41 Courtney Upshaw for the Crimson Tide. And now after the punt, Alabama opens with the ball at the 26. Give me your assessment of...
Well, Florida has to stop the run. I mean, they have to stop the run. The last 2 ball games that they played, they've not been able to stop the run by Alabama, and then it became too much to defend.
Eddie Lacy's in for the first time. McCarron back to throw. He's got his tight end wide open all the way out.
Another first
to
down
the 48-yard line. Michael Williams with the catch, 22 yards.
So you got to hand it to Jim McElwain. He's dialed now 4 different first down passes. This is just all seams. 4 guys up the seams. When you have a middle safety, you throw the ball to the hash marks, and Michael Williams is such a valuable player for Alabama. He's almost a 3rd offensive tackle and a very good receiver.
And his 3rd catch here in the early going. That gives him 8 for the year. That's Darius Hanks in motion. Play action, McCarron. He's got a man deep right side, and he overthrows Darius Hanks by a yard or 2.
He had 2 guys open. He had Kenny Bell also open on the play. Again, a little bit of miscommunication in the secondary for the young Florida secondary. Remember, we were here against Tennessee when they had 6 pass interference calls, maybe 7, who knows? Okay, there were so many. In this game, they've backed off a bit. They're not playing that bump and run style. They're not getting called for the penalties, but so far McCarron has been able to pick his throws pretty easily.
See Ronald Powell, who plays the buck linebacker defensive hit, and he's in a rush position to the left, and he does run, but up the middle, Eddie Lacy.
Those 2 championship teams by Florida, when they took it all the way, Tebow got all the credit. Obviously, he deserved a lot of credit. But it was the rush defense by Florida that really made their defense did not allow people to run the ball between the tackles.
3rd and 2. 9:51 to go, first half.
In the title game, Alabama ran the ball 5th SEC title game against Florida. They ran the ball 53 times.
Little toss, Lacy. Jelani Jenkins, number 3, with the big stop.
And that's one of the names we have not heard tonight too much. A little bit of Bostic, but not much Jelani Jenkins. He was all over the field against Tennessee, and on that one you showed the speed that you watch when you watch some tape.
Cody Mandel is on to punt for the first time tonight. Chris Rainey is at the 10. See what Alabama chooses to do with this. Rainey grabs it at the 14-yard line. Effective 34-yard punt, nothing on the return. Nick Saban likes what he's seen so far. His team leads by 7. Bama by 7. Time now to take a look at our Home Depot tools for success. Gary?
One of the pressure points we set up in this football game was yards after catch. And Florida came out and stung Alabama early, got some long pass to start the game for a touchdown, and then saw some catch and yardage afterwards. But you know, this team is now, Alabama is kind of getting used to the speed, I think, of this Florida team, and they're starting to make those tackles. Last 2 drives, interception for a touchdown and a 3 and out.
On first down 10, Rainey is in the backfield with Trey Burton. Play action. Brantley.
Yeah, good pressure, good pressure.
Looks like Josh Chapman, number 99, up the middle.
Nose tackle, hits his arm, I believe. Comes on strong, disengages with an arm under, and then sticks his arm up, and Brantley could not follow through.
That was John Halapio trying to do the offensive job and unable. Brantley now 7 of 11 for 142 yards, but the key stat was the interception. 2nd and 10. Pressure from the corner, missed tackle, but then they got to Rainey. Damian Square. Let's go back to New York. Once again, here's Tim.
Vern, I talked earlier this week with Brian Kelly, the Notre Dame coach, and he told me he thinks his running game is about to catch stride. Well, look out. Sierra Wood, a career-high 55-yard run. He has 8 carries, 102 yards. It's now 21-0 Irish over Purdue. Back to you.
Goodness. 3rd down, 11 here. Dempson Rainey, not a factor whatsoever so far in the first half of this game. Combined 7 carries for -1 yards. 3rd down, 11. 4-man rush. Brantley up. Delivered across the middle. Ball is incomplete.
Will Lowry that time timed it up beautifully.
And it's going to be 3 and out.
Again. Ball and Lowry get there about to say that ball should have been caught. I'll tell you, you got to have that one. If you're going to beat Alabama, you don't get a lot of these chances. Andre Dubois to catch that football.
And that, Gary, of course, is the second 3 and out in succession. Lerner on to punt for the second time. Line drive. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's fairly effective.
I think it might have been when you got Mays back there. They saw the highlight of your call also.
Nice one. Yes, indeed. David Lerner learned this summer that he's battling Crohn's disease and combating it very well. Time call.
Tim Brando in New York coming up on the Geico Halftime Report. Spencer and I will get you caught up on all of the action, including Philip Luxenkirchen's triumphant return to the Auburn offense, here catching what would turn out to be the winning touchdown in their upset of South Carolina. Now back to Alabama, Florida.
All right, Tim, thank you. And we had an update a while ago. Notre Dame over Purdue. Big, not a good day for the Boilermakers, but earlier last fall, look at this. The cradle of quarterbacks highlighted on the left side. Gary Danielson welcomed into that select fraternity. Starting quarterback. What did we say? You decided that 10 were NFL
10 of the
players?
12 played in the NFL. How about that?
That's a pretty good list. And congratulations to you. Here's Richardson. Nope. Maybe a yard and a half. Jalen Watkins, number 14. Well, Nick Saban had Will Muschamp on his staff. They met in 2000. Who were the assistant coaches on Saban's LSU National Championship staff that are now head coaches? We might have given you one.
Well, we all know Muschamp. Right? We're giving him a head start. Right?
Yeah. Kind of a storyline this week. Second down. Brandon Gibson, number 11, in at wideout. Top of the screen. McCarron keeps it left. Hanks through his hands. Good defensive job by the linebacker, Laurenti McCray.
This is a really big stop for the Florida defense. Their offense has gone 3 and out, 3 and out. Had an interception before that for a touchdown. And remember, Alabama gets the ball to start the second half. This is when a game can get out of control real fast. Now they've got it. 3rd and 8 here. They need a stop.
And let's see how much the crowd affects the play. Not much. Brad Smelly breaks a tackle, surges inside the 45, and has a first down. Crimson Tide at the 42 after the 15-yard gain.
I'll tell you, Nick Saban talked about how the crowd helped them against Arkansas, and he said, we worked on the crowd all week, especially Thursday. Look at this protection up front. Usually crowd control affects the offensive line, but so far the Alabama offensive line has given McCarron time to throw the ball.
On first down, Richardson. This time he stopped. I found it interesting that Nick told us on the phone. On Thursday, they actually moved the practice inside.
Right.
So it's a controlled environment. Then they pump the noise.
Right, so it's louder. The players love it because they can't hear Nick yelling at them.
Well, I can think of some assistant coaches that are in that canoe with him. Second down. Under 6 to go. Richardson comes left. Bangs his way to the 32-yard line. That will be close for a first down. Chance Warmack, number 65. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Florida Field at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, a.k.a. the Swamp, so nicknamed by Steve Spurrier when he was in the midst of his brilliant 12-year career here. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Tracy Wolfson with you. The difference in this ball game is a 45-yard pass interception return for a touchdown by defensive linebacker Courtney Upshaw. Florida actually scored on the first play of the game from offense, a 65-yard pass. It's 17-10 right now. McCarron play fake, pressure, goes deep, double coverage, incomplete. And how about this Alabama defense so far?
They've adjusted. They got hit with the bomb early. The speed of Florida seemed to be a factor, but now that Alabama defense, Hightower making plays, the pass rush making plays, and then even when they get blocked, they make plays. And that was a combination of a good pass rush there also.
Richardson, it'll be third down, and the play's going to be marked down at the 20.
He doesn't go down, does he?
No, he does not.
Nope. You know, Vern, yes, the interception for the touchdown is the difference in the game. But also the fact that Alabama's run the ball for 81 yards in the first half, Florida minus 1 yard. 9 rushes. If you cannot run the ball against this defense of Alabama, I think it eventually catches up with you.
Well, that's a pattern established by Arkansas last
Absolutely.
week. They were one-dimensional. Third down, 8.
Another big stop. Let's see if they blitz this time.
Whoa! Got rid of the ball. Here's Richardson. Looks for a downfield block. There is a flag down, but it's back at the position of the quarterback.
Yeah, probably be roughing the passer, wouldn't it?
Dominic Easley, I think, got to McCarron.
What a call by Jim McElwain. He knew what a big play. He had to believe that Florida rush was going to come after him. A.J. McCarron got right into Easley's face on that
Personal
play.
foul, roughing the passer, number 2, defense. Half the distance to the goal for the end of the run, first down.
I think what upset A.J. McCarron is Easley drove him into the ground. Muschamp respectfully disagrees.
Yeah.
It's a quick screen. Watch how quick. Let go in the middle. Easley, well, he shoved him down, and you know what? It looked a bit like McCarron grabbed him and pulled him into him, in a way. I don't know if we have another look at that. No matter what, it was called.
And it is a first down and goal. Brad Smelly with the downfield block to help Richardson. Richardson, right side. Oh, boy, somebody took the
That's going to be
Was that Matt Elam?
First
No,
down.
Jonathan Bostic took a wild haymaker swing.
The
52 instead of 22.
And he swung. Bostic did.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 52, defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
He's very fortunate he doesn't get tossed out of this game. He might have been. I don't know if he's in the goal line defense. Maybe he's just substituted, but sometimes when you slug, you can get thrown out.
We get a report as quickly as possible. Touchdown, Alabama. And the absence of self-control by the most unlikely of young men.
Right.
Bostic.
Well, you know, whether you're getting held, no matter what, you know, that's a big play. You have to be able to see that Alabama has been in a lot of big games. This crowd has not affected them at all.
McCarron on the quarterback sneak. And Bostic took a wild swing. He did not connect. Here's Jeremy Shelley with the extra point.
Now what does Charlie Weiss and the Florida offense do?
Look at Saban.
Settle down, settle down.
Jonathan Bostic on the bench for the Gators. There's the Florida bench. 3-13. Alabama has outscored Florida 24-3 since they scored on the first offensive play. That's number 52, Jonathan Bostic, linebacker, leader on this Gator team. Penalized for taking a haymaker. He got into it with number 76 for Alabama, DJ Fluker.
And that Florida defense has to use their emotions to make plays, not to have fights and individual battles right now. They got to play as a team. Emotions are great, but you have to be able to settle down and play the scheme.
Gillisley and Patton are the two deep men. Here is Cade Foster again. This is his deepest kick, taken at the goal line by Solomon Patton. After 33.
Vern, we're going to take a best shot we have. I don't know if we actually have the punch. This is the play-by-play camera as it was originally shown on the Bostic. It's right here are the two. They're jostling Fluker and Bosley. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then right at the end of the play, as they go out of frame,
right,
Bostic takes a swing at Fluker. Fluker just doing his job there.
First down, 10. 4 wides for the Gators. Trailing now by 14 points. Brantley steps up, heads to his left, chased by Josh Chapman and Dante Hightower, and he is out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Charlie Weis, offensive coordinator for Florida, has no choice. You have to use the clock. You have to put points on the board. You can't play it safe here.
2nd down 6.
Doesn't matter if your quarterback is young, doesn't have a lot of experience. You got to do it. Game on.
Brantley across the middle, caught by Jordan Reed, the tight end, number 11. That's a 1st down, Florida. A gain of 10.
Jordan Reed was supposed to be a big part of this offense for Florida this year. He struggled with a hamstring injury. He's now, they say, 100%.
Former quarterback, used in that role some last year, now full-time tight end. 1st down. Left side, there's Reed, hauled down by Nico Johnson, number 35.
See, that's how you have to play defense against these fast crossing routes. Your linebacker lets him catch it, but you play it underneath and you wrap him up.
And a gain of 4, 2nd down 6, 2 minutes to go, 1st half. It would behoove the Gators to get something on the board before halftime. Brantley, right side, caught. Yes.
Yep, nice throw.
Frankie Hammond. And a quick update from the Florida bench. Jonathan Bostic was not ejected from the game. He is still part of the squad.
Good.
Yes, indeed.
Like to watch him play. So far, now you get the ball to the 40-yard line. Does Saban and Kirby Smart dial up something a little different? It's been all soft zone so far in this drive.
On 1st and 10 from the 40, Brantley has 2 wides to the left and 2 to the right. 4-man rush again. Crossing route, Rainey. And he breaks the tackle, gets around the corner, and is out of bounds at the 15.
And we talked about it. That was everything for Alabama acceptable. Let him catch it, make the tackle, because yards after catch on that one was an extra 15 yards. And he went through Hightower, and I think it was Menzie that time.
And then Robert Lester chasing him, couldn't catch up, did force him out of bounds.
Great drive by Florida here to answer.
2 wide, right side. Up the middle, ground game, not effective whatsoever. That's Rainey, and he runs into Adrian Hubbard, number 42.
It is interesting talking to Kirby Smart about Charlie Weis. We asked Charlie the same thing. Kirby Smart said we even watched Kansas City Chief film to see how Charlie Weis used Dexter McCluster, who's similar to Rainey. Pretty thorough.
Charlie was the offensive coordinator in Kansas City last year. Here's Brantley back. Flushed, caught from behind, and a fumble. The ball comes out.
Still alive.
It's still alive.
It's still alive.
Pick it up and run. Go.
It's
Hurry.
still alive. That's a touchdown.
Adrian Hubbard.
Well, now the referee, the official, the head official, is waving it.
Watkins, number 91, forced it. Hubbard picked it up. Didn't know quite what to do with it.
The only thing I could think of is one of the line judges blew their whistle on the play, but the back official did not. The referee did not blow his whistle. I watched his body language. He threw his bag down and kept saying, play.
Arch timeout, Florida.
Oh, I'm confused.
That didn't answer anything. Is he saying that there was timeout called before the snap?
That's the only thing I could think of. I was watching head referee that time the whole time. That's a fumble.
Yes.
He throws his beanbag. Go back just a little bit. There's the beanbag right there. He's calling it a fumble.
And now has so indicated that a timeout Florida was called.
Well, what they are saying, I guess, is Brantley got the fumble. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, we can do naught but await further explanation. Mark Curls is the referee. And we got this from the replay booth. He was ruled down, Brantley that is, on the play, and then a timeout called after he was ruled down.
Right, but is it reviewable? Of course it's reviewable. Did the ball come out before his knee went down? That's what I'd be asking if I was Nick Saban. Yes, because I clearly saw Mark Curl right here throw his beanbag out. Watch him throw his beanbag out on the play. Watch him, watch his reaction.
And where was the timeout called?
Wow. Well, that's a break for Florida. Let's see if they can cash in.
No, they can't. Courtney Upshaw. I'm still confused, I must confess. And Brantley's
hurt his knee. He hurt his knee on that play. He's grabbing his right knee.
This was Upshaw all the way, number 41.
He went right over Wagner, did he?
Yes, he did. And John Brantley still down, the redshirt quarterback.
Oh yeah, he twisted his, got his right foot caught in the ground as he tried to twist. Now we remember Upshaw from last year when he was healthy. He was a tear rushing the passer. He had that high ankle sprain most of 2010. Caught his foot in the ground on the play.
Jeff Driscoll, who was ranked the #1 quarterback prospect in the country coming out of high school, but really ineffective and struggled last week in 2 possessions. Here's Jeff Driscoll on the first, back to throw. He was 0 for 3 ultimately with this fumble. And then shortly after that went deep, found Frankie Hammond. Hammond hit, and the ball picked off by Kentucky. So on 3 plays, a fumble and a pass interception and a very sad sight. John Brantley, knee or ankle, being assisted to the sideline.
Well, he might go right to the locker room.
I bet he will. His father, John, was a quarterback at Florida in the late 70s, head coach at Trinity Catholic in Ocala.
And now you will really feel the result of the transition in the offense from the spread option that Urban ran a year ago to what Will Muschamp and Charlie Weiss is trying to do now. There are no more quarterbacks. The rest of the quarterbacks are option quarterbacks, are now playing tight end. Now, as you said, we showed it right there. They're going to go to a true freshman. There's nobody else on the squad.
Driscoll from Oviedo, Florida, and John Brantley waited so long behind Tim Tebow. Matter of fact, as a senior at Trinity Catholic, it was Brantley who set a career record of 99 touchdown passes in Florida high school ball that surpassed Tebow's record by 1.
Florida's letting the clock run down. They know they're out of field goal range. They're just going to go as far as they can.
And we remain in a little bit of confusion over that call. Prior to the last sack of John Brantley, time called. 11 seconds to go in the first half. Back at the Swamp in Gainesville coming up, Tim and Spencer, the Geico halftime report. We'll go back to the guys in New York shortly after this field goal attempt. This is Caleb Sturgis from 52. He's hit 12 of 12 this year and 14 straight, including a 51-yarder earlier this year.
Timeout by Alabama to freeze it.
Sturgis, as we mentioned, the redshirt junior out of St. Augustine, has been a terrific force for Florida this year. And quickly before the field goal attempt, let's answer the trivia question. The assistant coaches on Saban's LSU team, Derek Dooley, he of the orange pants at Tennessee, Jimbo Fisher, who's watching this game tonight, Florida State head coach, and of course Will Muschamp. And they all gathered very close to the head coach, you notice.
Yes. Well, let's see, 52. See the big 3 points.
Oh, maybe. Nope. Drifts back outside to the right. And that leaves 5 seconds to go. And Sturgis's string of successfully attempted field goals comes to an end.
You know, that was a well hit, though, wasn't it?
Yes.
That could have been good if he'd have got it straightened out. It kind of faded on him. Started out, looked like it was okay, and kind of blew to the right. Did not turn in at all. About 3 feet wide right. I think that was Tracy ducking on that one in the end zone.
I think you're right. And so McCarron will take a knee. Very confusing last couple of minutes here at the Swamp.
Yeah, but the first half wasn't. Alabama's running game and just plowed it right through him.
Florida struck with a touchdown on the first play from offense, 65 yards. And then the Alabama Crimson Tide outscored the Gators 24-3 to get to the halftime break, including a 45-yard touchdown interception by Courtney Upshaw. Here's Tracy with Will Muschamp.
Coach, we saw John Brantley go down with that right knee injury. We saw you go out and talk to him. Can you give us any information?
Not right now. We're going to go and look at him at halftime here. He's played an outstanding first half. We got to play better around him.
Jeff Driscoll will have to come in if he can't go. What will you say to him as he approaches this challenge?
Oh, Jeff's ready for this. He's an outstanding football player, and he'll be fine. We just got to play better around him, get our composure back on defense, and play a little bit better and tackle better.
Thanks a lot. Vern?
All right, thank you, Tracy. Well, one of the key points in this first half, the injury sustained by John Brantley when he was taken down by Courtney Upshaw, and you could see the right knee buckle. And I must tell you, we're still unclear on what happened now. The play prior to that. Here's Brantley back. Gary, what do you think?
There is a sack. The question is, did the ball come out before his knee down? I know Brantley never had it. I saw the official, head referee Mark Curl, never blew his whistle. So that was a 7-point swing right there.
Tis a mystery. Let's go back to Tim Brando in our New York studios.
All right, Vern, we're all about mysteries here. Coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, Spencer and I will have all of today's action after this word from your local station.
Halftime in the Swamp, Alabama 24-10. An injury just before the halftime break to John Brantley. Here's Tracy with more.
Well, thanks, Vern. Charlie Weiss telling me just a few minutes ago that John Brantley is out. It looks to be a right leg injury. He was taken on a golf court with crutches, and we can only assume to go get x-rays, guys.
All right, thank you. Here's Jeff Driscoll, the true freshman, listed on the depth chart. Trey Burton also, of course, has experience at the quarterback position. Trey Burton last year as a freshman, 6 touchdowns from a variety of positions.
But when we were in our meetings, we were told that Trey Burton spends all his times now with the running back coach and tight end coach. He does not attend. Well, I don't know if he doesn't attend, but he spends 95% of his time as a tight end running back.
Sturgis approaches. Here is the kick. Marquise Mays from a yard inside the end zone. Back outside to the 22-yard line. And let's see if it's Driscoll who comes off the bench now. And here comes Alabama. And of course it will be A.J. McCarron who will be a quarterback. There's no question about that. Mays in motion. And that one unsuccessful. Well, very, very tough news for the Florida Gators. We won't see their quarterback for a moment, but impact on the game.
It's too much to even talk about. I mean, Jeff Driscoll has no experience at this level of playing. He's going to play maybe the best defense in college football, and it's a whole new system for everybody. I think the real difference in the game, yes, Florida was able to throw the ball, and it was looking nice throwing the ball early. Alabama can do both. Both is the difference.
Here's McCarron, and Richardson coming right. Again, moving out near the 28-yard line, while Powell, number 7, makes the stop. Charlie Weiss, first year as the offensive coordinator, and Jeff Driscoll right to his right. Oviedo, ranked by those who do such things for a living, is the #1 high school quarterback in the country last year. But in the meantime, Alabama has a 14-point lead and a 3rd down and 3. Blitz. Richardson. All the way out to the 35. That'll move the chain for the Crimson Tide.
It is interesting. I mean, Alabama's offensive line has been, a force in college football ever since Nick got here. But they seem to be able to run the ball just as effectively, no matter who's at running back. They've got 2 power backs. I mean, Richardson does break long runs, but he's like an NFL running back playing running back right here.
On first down,
4 or 5 yards every time he touches it.
Brad Smelly heading to the left. McCarron. All kinds of time. Now he'll freelance and finds a wide open Darius Hanks out near the 48-yard line. That's another first down. How about trends in the first half, Gary?
Well, I could kind of shut my eyes and figure this out right here. When you got one guy being able to run the ball and the other team not being able to run it at all, you got a big advantage. Yes, John Brantley, and I think Will Muschamp said it right. Brantley was not the problem in this game. It was the other stuff. They had nothing going but their quarterback.
Here's Richardson moving ever closer to another 100-yard gain. And 7th defensive special teams touchdown in the last 18 games for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, last year, remember, it was a flea flicker pass. Mays threw a touchdown pass in the game. They had the interception. I mean, it's one thing if the quarterback for Alabama and their offense is scoring on you, but if everybody else is doing stuff, you have no chance against this well-coached team.
Richardson this time, nothing doing.
Forced him to bounce it.
Bostic, who is back on the field, and Dominic Easley, number 2. We say back on the field because Jonathan Bostic penalized for a haymaker, a swing, back at the in the first half.
Yeah, Easley got penetration that time, just as you called it. That was a big part of the play.
3rd down 8.
Can Florida find a pass rush?
They'll stunt. Little comeback pattern left side to Mays. It's incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
Well, Marcus Roberson that time did an excellent job. They matched him up man-to-man to the outside, and Roberson did his job.
And so on 4th down, there's the freshman, Marcus Roberson. Robert Clark is now the deep man, wide receiver, number 7.
Rainey's dancing around. Could they get a punt block here?
Whoa, they're going to get a roughing the kicker call.
Oh, they're going to get one on the back end, though, by Alabama.
Oh, dear.
Yep.
Mandel is hurt. We have 2 flags, one at the Alabama 39 and the other at the Florida 8.
Run right into him that time. I think it was McCray.
It was. And then at the other end, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, that was
Dequan Menzies.
Kirkpatrick goes, no!
Robert Clark.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul, roughing the kicker, number 34 defense. Kick catch interference on the kicking team. Those penalties offset. Replay 4th down.
Well, let's take another look at this last play.
You know what basically happens, you get the roughing the kicker right there, and then the personal foul against Clark. It's like it never happened unless you were Clark or the kicker,
right? Because
you got 2 bruises. For everybody else, it's like it never happened.
Yeah, nothing to it. And so we'll replay the down with 11:36 to go. Now Chris Rainey is back. Will Muschamp on 4th down. Rainey at the 6. Rainey down at the 13. Another flag.
I think that was Hightower on that tackle. Their starting linebacker. Right now, Alabama says we don't want to give them a cheapie, putting their best players on the punt team to make sure that Florida doesn't get a punt return to change the flow of the game.
Return, holding number 6, return team. The penalty's 10 yards from the end of the run. 1st down.
Had to be Deontay Thompson, didn't it?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, quite sure. Well, Will Muschamp is going to let the officials know how he feels about it. Here was the penalty on McCray, and at the other end, the hit on Clark. After that's all unscrambled and the 2 guys tend to themselves, we'll be right back. Significant injury for the Gators of Florida. 45 seconds to go in the first half. John Brantley back to pass, taken down by Courtney Upshaw. As Tracy told you, it is a leg injury, quite obviously, and taken off in a golf cart. And that means that the new quarterback now for the Florida Gators is Jeff Driscoll. He's a 6'4", 235-yard freshman from Oviedo. And for the season, 5 of 10 with 2 interceptions. Here is Driscoll. How about this stage?
And a key stat, minus 17 yards rushing for Florida. Can they help them at all?
Frankie Hammond starts. And here's Rainey trying to bounce it to the outside. He does get positive yardage. He gets 3. And let's try and introduce you to Jeff Driscoll. Rated the #1 pro-style prospect by Rivals and Scout at Haggerty High School.
Going to go Wildcat here.
And it's Driscoll split wide to the right.
Rainey's in Wildcat.
Yep, there's Rainey. Tucks it, goes right, and again, not much there. Great pursuit by the Alabama defense. He's down at the 11-yard line.
Yeah.
Jesse Williams, the young man from Brisbane, Australia, number 54.
Well,
as a senior, 15 touchdown passes. He rushed for 20. Also caught a couple. 3rd down.
You know what I say about all that stuff?
Yep.
We all have good high school stats.
Well, some of us do.
If you get a scholarship in Florida, you do.
Driscoll protects the ball. It'll be 4th down.
This is like the ultimate, you're one of those guys that that carries the bullets for the muskets, and right. Everybody, and you got all of a sudden you got the musket. There's nothing else you can do. I mean, you got the game right now. They can't run the ball. You're the quarterback. You have to throw it.
Here's Marquise Mays, the ever dangerous punt returner, and David Lerner is on to punt it away, rugby style.
It's been effective.
Yes, it has. And again, it is. It negates the return, among other things, and it crosses the 50. That's a 41-yard punt, but most significantly, no opportunity for Marquise Mays to return it. Nick Saban's team has a 14-point lead. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by LG, Nissan, New York Life Insurance Company, and by Chick-fil-A. Aerial coverage of the SEC on CBS Sports provided by Southwest Airlines. On the sideline, the freshman Jeff Driscoll to the right. Charlie Weiss, 32-year-old coaching veteran. He's coached for 32. He's not quite 32. Down the sidelines, overthrown for Marquise Mays. Let's go back to the studio for a John Hancock update.
All right, Vern. Well, cementing his position as newcomer of the year in the Big Ten, Russell Wilson with a 10-yard run to give the Badgers their largest lead of the game. He's 12 of 16 in the year, 233 with 2 touchdown passes and that score. They get the week off next week, then Indiana. They're on their way. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Tim. Eddie Lacy has replaced Richardson now at running back, second down. McCarron hands it off to Lacy, number 42. He's a load himself at 224 pounds. Omar Hunter, number 99, William Green, and down at the bottom of the stack, who we got? Jalen Watkins was part of it. And Josh Evans, number 24. Okay, Will Muschamp, 40-year-old head coach, his first season at Florida. Inside route, contact, no flag.
Yeah, Cody Riggs beat him to the spot that time. Nice coverage. Corner for Florida. Well, you know, sometimes you lose your quarterback and the defense goes, we have to do it. We have to make some plays, and Riggs beat Hanks to the spot that time.
Chris Rainey is back. Cody Mandel is on the punt.
I think Alabama would like to have that sequence pass, run, pass over again. They went for the home run ball on first down. They got behind the chains and they couldn't do it.
This one will bounce and go out of bounds inside the 20 at the 15-yard line. 32-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Will Muschamp, first year at Florida. Nick Saban, 5th year at Alabama. Now, following our game, Gary's going to hustle down to the bus for the Alabama-Florida matchup, and he'll answer your college football questions live from CBS SEC on the CBS.
Vern, let me, in front of the national audience, invite you down this week for the 5th quarter. Would you like to comment another hour on this one?
I might take a rain check.
You're going to go a big one. All right, let's see if Florida can find some offense here. What do they do besides throw the ball? Because they haven't proved they can run the ball a lick.
Here's Driscoll. Deep left side. Good coverage. Double coverage, as a matter of fact. And Dequan Menzie was back there. Now he's on the ground.
Yeah, and Menzie did a good job of cutting off the receiver, making sure he had to run right through him. Watch Menzie cut him off. Perfect technique. It's exactly how you're taught to do it. Don't run side by side. Get in front of him on that situation. And then try to catch the ball.
And Menzie is still down at the 50-yard line. Had one of the big plays in the win over Arkansas last week when he tipped a pass to himself and returned it 25 yards for a pass interception. So second week in a row now.
Yeah, it looked like Robert Lester, his own teammate, was the one that might have injured him on the play. No, maybe, I'm not sure. It might have been DeBose falling on his ankle.
Time has been called, and Menzie apparently will be able to walk off unaided. 8:14 to go in the third. Bama by 14. Don't forget, later in the game, the play of the game presented by Napa Auto Parts. Dequan Menzie getting a little attention on the sideline. Second down. Demps is in at running back. 3 wides. Driscoll back. Deep right side. He's got a man open and overthrows it. Oh dear.
Yeah, nice throw. Just about a foot and a half too long.
Yep.
Alabama shifts up. They go one single safety. Watch the strong safety move up. Excuse me, that's Mike Barron right there. That's what I was trying to get it to. Runs right by Barron and just slightly overthrows. Threw to the right guy, just didn't do it right, Vern.
Third down 10, and you see the third down conversions tonight. Only 33.33%. Driscoll. Play clock at 10. Upshaw coming from the right side. Driscoll tucks it. Oh, boy. Milner took him down, number 28. Ouch.
Driscoll comes outside. He's not going to pick up the first down, and he has to now think about keeping himself healthy. He's got a long SEC season here.
And this, of course, a tough 2 weeks for Florida, especially now that Brantley apparently out for a while. They go to LSU next week. David Lerner on the punt. This has been a very effective tactic tonight. It was touched. Who got it? Alabama got it. And look at Saban. That's Fulton. John Fulton, backup cornerback, and Saban was out there to pull him away from.
It's not a safe place to be a freshman, Alabama. Because I tell you, remember McCarron last year when he got an earful? Oh, Mays tipped it, and it was anybody's ball, and it ended up being Mays' ball.
Now watch Saban.
Doesn't need a 15-yard penalty.
Now, you don't suppose Fulton's going to hear a little more about that?
Yeah, Fulton is a sophomore, but you get the point. He hasn't earned playing time.
Handoff, Lacey. And after the play, Lacey is taken down back in the bench area. Look at this.
You just don't need anything stupid, Nick Saban is telling him. Anything, just make them earn it. We've got the advantage with a freshman quarterback. Let's not give them a cheapie or 15-yard penalties.
Nice move by Drake Kirkpatrick. Put his arm around his teammate and got him away from Saban. Second down 8. McCarron across the middle. And that stop is made at the 37-yard line. Eddie Lacey.
You know what?
Catch.
Now, Florida's not to the level of the Texas team in the national championship. But I get the feeling that the air has gone out of this Alabama team. Remember the national championship when Colt McCoy went out?
Right.
And Garrett Gilbert, the freshman, came in. Can Jeff Driscoll pull a Garrett Gilbert? Because right now, Alabama looks like they're not playing with the same intensity when they had the first-string quarterback there.
If that's going to happen, here's a key play defensively for the Gators. On third down. McCarron with time. And he's got a man open and does not get the pass complete.
Another
Intended for
three and
Brad
out.
Smelly.
Another
yes.
3 and out. You let a team hang around, and all of a sudden, remember that national championship game. Muschamp was there. Remember that? He was the defensive coordinator for Texas.
So Robert Clark, who was shaken up earlier, is back to return this, and that means Chris Rainey is up on the punt rush team. Rainey 5 blocks in his career. Let's see if they come hard. There's Rainey. You see number 1. He's got 1 block this season, plus a punt block return for a touchdown. Off the edge, he's knocked out of the way.
Oh, what a punt.
Yes, it was. Fair catch, Clark. And he takes it at the 9-yard line. Now let's go to Tim Brando for this Heisman watch presented by Nissan.
All right, Vern, Landry Jones had a big night. 5 touchdown passes and 3 quarters of work before leaving here with one of those to Ryan Broyles. Meanwhile, Kellen Moore was 19 of 33, 142 yards. That's a career low. 2 touchdowns in their win over Nevada. And Robert Griffin looked great until an interception late. Baylor lost for the first time, 36-35, but he was 23 of 31 for 346 and 5 touchdowns. Back to you.
All right, and I'm not suggesting he's in the Heisman watch, but how about the game by Arkansas quarterback Tyler Wilson today?
Just as a quarterback game.
Wow, 500 and some yards as they came back to defeat A&M. Here's Driscoll chased by Upshaw. Upshaw misses it. Driscoll goes deep, and that one well defended. Rainey coming down the sideline, and Dequan Menzie is back on the field. Good news for Alabama. Well, we've got Richardson now, 110 yards per game. Lattimore, Kellen Moore, Robert Griffin, Andrew Luck.
I like the 2 guys on the bottom.
Do you?
Luck and Wilson, until they lose, I believe, it's going to be one of those, if they go undefeated, I think they're the ones that are going to drive. It's theirs to lose, so to speak.
Got it. Here's Driscoll on 2nd down, 10, 24-10. Left side, Rainey. Wow. That's Rainey's 8th carry. 8th carry, and he's under 5 yards.
Upshaw is one of the great football players in this conference. Number 41 right there. Look at him go outside, just shove the tight end out of the way that time, Kristen, and just make the play inside. There might not be a Marcel Darius on this football team up front, but their linebacker play, I mean, wow. They don't even have Mosley out here.
Yes. Here's Driscoll back. Dante Hightower coming, and Driscoll gets by him. Well, how about that?
Here we go. So you let a team hang around, because Alabama has not played on offense with any intensity. Jeff Driscoll's about a 4-5 runner in the 40 quarterback. Yes, he's a pro-style thrower, but you can also see he can move it. Now you almost think, if you're Florida, when you get the ball to the 50-yard line, as bad as you need points, it might be 4-down territory the rest of the game.
Driscoll still has it. He's in jail. Damian Square, number 92. Alex Watkins, number 91. Well, rushing tonight, Richardson and Lacey. Gary talked about this at the outset of the telecast. And look at Demps and Rainey, 11 rushes for 2 yards. That's a pretty good job defensively, taking away your most effective weapon.
Demps had the 2 kickoff returns. Yes, you need him for kickoff returns. I get it. But he was out of the game after that. That was a big part of this football game. Alabama adjusted so well up front. They're in an inch to run. The one run they've had has been a quarterback scramble on a pass play.
And that was a 31-yard gain just a moment ago. Here's Driscoll play action. Across the middle, oh boy.
It was tipped up front, I believe. I think it was Josh Chapman that might have got his hand on that. Barron and Hightower right there, 2 All-Americans. Let's see if it's Chapman.
Yep.
It was. Trying to dump the ball off to Rainey. Perhaps the Alabama offense has lost a little intensity, but the defense sure hasn't.
Look at this, Florida rushing yards, 13 tonight. And 31 of those came on the scramble.
Can't hide a quarterback. Start throwing the ball. There it is.
That's Reed out to the 44.5-yard line.
Almost, the Bama defense almost conceded that 8-yard play there. If you're going to go throw it, you're going to get hit as you catch it. Didn't quite get to that 50-yard line where they could go for it on 4th down.
Yep, it'll be 4th down and 6, and so David Lerner is on to punt yet again.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you've seen David Lerner, the punter, and we've highlighted Caleb Sturgis, the place kicker. Red Lobster presents today's Scholar Athlete. It is Caleb Sturgis, 3.32 grade point average, graduated in 3 years. He's going after his master's degree right now. Red Lobster's commitment to the investment of our future, shown today by donating $1,000 to the University of Florida's General Scholarship Fund. Sturgis family soccer players. His older brother Nathaniel plays for the Toronto professional team. First down.
Well, Trent Richardson wasn't in the last 2 series, but he's out there now. Let's see if he can set the tempo back for the Alabama offense.
No, sir. Dominic Easley led the defensive charge.
Well, up front, Jay Howard, Easley, number 2. It's Easley, gets penetration and blows the play up, and then ends up getting half the tackle.
Oh, he shoved Anthony Steen 3 yards back
Sure
off
did.
the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 13.
One more of those, and you're going to see Barrett Jones moving over to guard, and a new tackle will come in. They need a 3-and-out, Florida does right here, to give their young quarterback a chance.
It'll be 3rd down from the 11-yard line.
The Florida defense has to make the stop and help their quarterback. Critical play.
McCarron comes right. Mays, did he catch it? No, he did not. 3-and-out.
Back shoulder throw to a lock press coverage. Mays thinks he was inbounds. Let's see. His left foot. Boy, oh boy, that's going to be reviewed, isn't it?
I would hope so.
They called it complete, did they? I see somebody waving it off, and now I see complete.
The catch is under further review.
Well, the line judge said no.
Well, that one guy was clearly going no catch, right?
Right.
Clearly in our picture, must have been overruled by the back judge. This guy right there up the top says no catch. His foot seems to be dragging to me, and he's got the football.
Well, Michael Shirey.
Watch the wave. No, incomplete. Yep. He must have been overruled by one of his partners.
Yeah.
It was called a completed pass, correct? Yes, it was called a completed pass.
I had my eyes on the official
so did I.
saying incomplete.
No, so it has to be irrefutable evidence to overturn the call.
Right. And just a quick update, there was the controversial play in the first half when Brantley fumbled. It was apparently picked up by Alex Watkins, who was en route to a touchdown, and it was negated, we were told at halftime, as you look at this again, that the head linesman on that play ruled the ball dead.
You know, I think that might have been the first pressure situation.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
That might have been the first pressure throw of the year for A.J. McCarron. The way that, you had 3 and out, and that would have been a 3 and out, and he put it exactly where it needed to be. He makes throws like that when they need them. Alabama will be very tough to beat all year. They're going to be tough to beat anyway. But if he does that,
a huge third down conversion and a first down out at the 28. Across the middle to Michael Williams. Does he catch it? No, he does not.
You can tell that Nick Saban told Jim McElwain, the offensive coordinator, I don't want to sit on this thing anymore. Let's just run our offense, all right? There's too much time in this game to say, let's protect the game. Let's, throw it to the other side. 2 3 and outs in a row. I think Saban dialed up his offensive coordinator and said, let's play. Whatever happens, happens.
And so we've reached the final 61 seconds of the third quarter. No scoring in this quarter of play. A.J. McCarron on 2nd down and 10. Richardson out of the tackle.
Now, one of the ways to play is put your best guy on the field.
That's a good concept.
Yes.
That's an 18-yard gain.
He practically, you could just see it. The talent just sticks out. I mean, he practically, his freshman year, his first 2 football games, oh, there's an NFL player. That's what you'd say. When you look at him, all right, that guy's an NFL player. He's in his 3rd year now, and he's one of the best players in college football.
And for the 4th consecutive game, he's exceeded 100 yards on the ground, currently with 112. McCarron, and there's a catch made at the 48-yard line by Darius Hanks.
You wonder if one of the defensive backs for Florida is going to gamble and say, you know what, I got to make a play. I'm going to bait a throw to the outside and see if I can change the game with a great defense. That's very dangerous, because if you start guessing and they're going the other direction, it changes the scoreboard the other way just as fast.
End of 3.
That's the end of the third quarter.
No scoring in the third quarter. And at the end of 3, Alabama leads 24-10. We'll return right after this word from your local station. Touchdown, Alabama! We welcome you back to the Swamp. Live on a Saturday night, and in between the third and fourth quarters, one of the traditions here among the Florida fans, they sing, "We Are the Boys," and apparently the head coach got the big head.
One of the boys.
Yeah. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Tracy Wolfson from the Swamp. Here's Richardson. Goes right. Not much here on 2nd down and 4. It'll be 3rd and short. The dilemma for Florida is enormous now without their starting quarterback.
Well, yes, when you're trying to transition from a running type quarterback team to a passing team, and you got one true experienced quarterback, he gets injured. I think Georgia fans right now watching this game are going, it's the best night of our life.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, Georgia's going, we might back into this. Well, you're not going to back into it, but we might be alive for the SEC East. South Carolina loses. I mean, there's a lot of things happening for Georgia tonight.
And the Gators call timeout. It's all on the shoulders of this young man, Jeff Driscoll, and the slightly older fella to his left, Charlie Weiss.
And now it's time for our Geico game recap.
First play on offense for the Florida Gators. John Brantley goes deep to Andre DeBose, 65 yards, and that gave Florida a 7-0 lead. Alabama countered with a field goal, and this is the tying touchdown as Richardson scored from 2 yards out. Now one of the key plays defensively for the Crimson Tide. Brantley back, late second quarter, throws it in the midsection of Courtney Upshaw. He went 45 yards for his first career touchdown, 17-10 after the interception return. A.J. McCarron, a 1-yard touchdown rushing, increased the lead to 24-10. And then John Brantley, 45 seconds to go in the first half. Leg injury, right leg. And let's check in for more with Tracy Wilson.
Well, Vern, there are a lot of rumors down here regarding John Brantley and whether it was his knee or his ankle. I was told it was his leg, somewhere in between. No further information. Obviously, if we get anything, we will pass it along.
All right, Trace, thank you. And the conversation continues with Charlie Weiss and Jeff Driscoll on the Florida bench. In the meantime, 3rd and 1, Alabama up by 14. Richardson moved the chains. Now Trent Richardson, 24 for 117 now.
And as big as he is, he can hurt you around the edge. Sets up his blockers, goes inside. We know the power. The guy refuses to go down, catches the ball on the screen pass well. Literally such a weapon for Alabama. They do not have, obviously, a Julio Jones, but they're very balanced. One of the weapons no one talks about is Michael Williams, their tight end, number 89.
3 catches tonight, and as a blocker, very effective. Here's McCarron, pulls up and fires it to Richardson. And Trent Richardson's inside the 40-yard line before being tackled by Jonathan Bostic.
McCarron just looks comfortable out there. That's all I can say is this is not an easy place to play. But he does not appear at all like he's nervous, doesn't have happy feet. He just looks like what Nick Saban thought about him last year, is that he's the real deal and he's the next heir apparent to play quarterback for Alabama.
And in Saban's world, high praise is that he manages the game well, referred to his effort last week. This will bring up a 3rd down after 35. And let's check in back in New York. Once again, here's Tim.
All right, Vern, Gary, a little mix and matching from Matt Brown, Case McCoy, and David Ash. Split time tonight against Iowa State. This is Ash finding Jackson Shipley for 40 yards and a touchdown as Texas handles Iowa State in short order, getting some revenge for last year's loss. 37-14. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Tim. 3rd down, 3 here, the 11th play of the drive. Nick Saban turns 60 at the end of this month. How about that? Richardson.
Look at that.
Say good night. Touchdown.
Oh, my. I thought maybe Jay Howard had a chance for him, but I'll tell you, Josh Evans, number 24, had no idea when he was coming up to tackle. He was coming up full speed, and a train passed him full speed.
McCarron will hold. Carson Tinker snaps it back. Richardson, a 5-yard touchdown run tonight and tacked on 36 on that one.
Well, I'll tell you, Womack did a good job here on this play. Offensive line blocks down, and Womack comes around and makes the block inside, too. Watch this. A delayed draw, comes down. Watch Womack. Oh, look at that. Fits exactly with the linebacker, and then, bam, he's supposed to be a big back, a first down back. He's a game-breaking back also.
He's got 155 yards on the ground tonight. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Sonic, Geico, Cadillac, and by Rage. Aerial coverage of the SEC on CBS Sports provided by Southwest Airlines. And the place is starting to empty out now as Alabama has extended its lead to 21, 31-10. Trent Richardson. I think maybe we should reopen that Heisman conversation.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. If they go undefeated, and he keeps putting numbers like this, undefeated team, the 2 quarterbacks and a running back. Since South Carolina lost, you might have to look at this guy right here in the middle of it.
Played 2 years behind a Heisman winner, Mark Ingram. And really a self-effacing young man, delightful in conversation. Here is the kick taken by Solomon Patton. Driven out of bounds. Monday, the only thing these 2 girls have in common is that they're broke. See why 2 Broke Girls is TV's #1 new show. 2 Broke Girls, Monday, after How I Met Your Mother only, CBS. Well, the intent of Alabama was to negate the running game, the powerful speed of Demps and Rainey, and my goodness, have they done that. Demps with 3 carries for 4 yards. Rainey fewer than that. First down 10. And so here's Jeff Driscoll on in place of the injured John Brantley, and he is sacked by Ed Stinson, number 49.
You know, I really think Florida now has to think about next week.
Okay.
All right, they need to get their quarterback ready for LSU. We see Chapman limping off right there. But they're going to go on the road, and this most likely will be their quarterback when they play against LSU. They need some positive for him in the rest of this football game. Some easy throws. There's one.
There's one. And that's complete out to the 36-yard line. Jordan Reed. Well, it's just a really difficult schedule facing the Gators. It was with Brantley in there. Alabama tonight. First time in history that they have played back-to-back regular season games against 2 top 3 teams. LSU a big win over at Kentucky today.
Well, and you know, back-to-back, you played 3 national champions from the SEC. Alabama, LSU, and then last year's national champion Auburn, who beat South Carolina today on the road.
There's a personal foul. Face mask on the tackle. And take another look at the end of the play. Oh, yeah. So the ball across midfield, I beg your pardon, at the 49. Driscoll. Wow. Nick Gentry this time, number 58.
There's a guy I never talk enough about, Nick Gentry. Every time I watch a play, I go watch the replay the next day, I go, Gary, why did you mention number 58? I mean, the guy is a gamer. He's not a superstar, but he's one of those guys that's a plugger and makes plays throughout the whole game.
And he was an important part of one of the key plays tonight when he put the pressure on Brantley, and that led to the interception by Upshaw and the subsequent return for a TD. 5 sacks now for the Crimson Tide. Kirkpatrick is coming. There's a fumble.
And it's taken by Alabama. Oh, my goodness.
Yep. Nico Johnson, number 35. So the Crimson Tide is surging now.
Yeah, this is, you know, I thought, you know, Florida might have a chance to win this game if they did everything right and Demps and Rainey were a factor in the game. But the worst thing that could happen is what's happened tonight. You see it, fumble the snap, and then it gets kicked by Jalapeno right there, right to Nico Johnson. Everything's gone wrong. The first play, and then a quarterback injured, and no running game, as they still have to play October and the rest of the schedule.
Well, here's an as-if addition to the game, as if they need another injury, the Florida Gators. Here's the end of the play with Driscoll.
Oh, yeah, he got bent over, didn't he?
Yes.
Boy, is that Upshaw again?
I think it might have been. Well, he's on the bench getting taped. Let's go to Tracy for an update.
Well, Vern, they're taping up his left ankle right now. No one is warming up on the sideline, though, so we do expect him to get back in there and try and finish this one out, guys.
Okay, Trace, thank you. Look at the rushing yards tonight. Wow.
It's the first
Richardson Wildcat.
first of the year.
Yes. And gosh, gee willie.
And you know what this kind of reminds me of now is how Nick Saban used Mark Ingram a couple of years back when he won his Heisman against South Carolina. Remember that? He had all those carries. I think he was over close to 250 yards in that football game. I think Saban now is showing the rest of the people, especially LSU, be ready for this too, by the way. Because we all remember we got this too.
Richardson's career high now. He had 167 earlier against North Texas earlier this year.
Whoa.
Marquise Mays and the direct snap to Richardson. So he adds to the total.
Do want to go back to the one play that I think kind of broke this thing open in the second half for Alabama. That 3rd and 9 throw from McCarron to Mays on the sideline. That was probably the only pressure-packed play for McCarron the whole football game, and he came through.
Well, the starting offensive line still in there.
Oh yeah, you're not taking them out as long as number 3's in there.
McCarron is lined up wide to the right, top of the screen. So the Wildcat again, Marquise Mays. Here's Richardson.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It really, really is.
I think this is probably going to be the last series for Richardson in the football game. And that was the last carry.
There you go.
Gave him just enough work to get ready for that Wildcat against some live action. I think nicely done there by Nick Saban.
At a career high of 181 yards on 29 carries.
That probably was key too. The career high he was looking for.
Eddie Lacy has taken his place. Lacy with a season high and a career high of 162. And look at him, touchdown Alabama. As you said 2 weeks ago, thunder and thunder.
Thunder and thunder. I tell you, you can't talk enough about how, one of the things that Will Muschamp told us, but I think he learned it from Nick Saban. Yes, we recruit great players, but we coach them hard.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready to be coached hard, you don't come play at Alabama or Florida. Because at Alabama, and I've been at those practices, it's tough. They coach them hard there, but you can see they are well drilled and they play tough football.
Eddie Lacy, a 20-yard gallop for another Alabama touchdown. They're about to put this one away. Alabama 38-10 as this the Swamp has been drained of fans tonight. Now time for the play of the game presented by Napa Auto Parts. With the call, here's Eli Gold of the Alabama Radio Network.
Brantley in the shotgun, runners to the either side. Brantley has time, it now breaks down and throws, intercepted Bama. Courtney up short of the 40, to the 30, down the left sideline, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, 48 yards on the pick six. Thank you very much, touchdown, Alabama.
Oh, thank you very much, Eli Gold. It's good to hear your voice on this broadcast.
It's a little bit of an inside word from last week, or 2 weeks. What was last week?
It was last week. We introduced Eli, and he never made air. He's an old dear friend, a very treasured personality in the state of Alabama. And so 38-10 here with 8:45 to go. Cade Foster will kick it off. Solomon Patton fumbles again. Yep. Who got it? Florida got it.
Well, we thought perhaps doing our homework before the game that kickoffs could be an important part of this football game. We thought we were right until the quarterback went down.
Yeah, exactly. And look at this rushing comparison. Richardson and Lacey, 213. Demps and Rainey, 2 yards.
And that means in the last 3 wins by Alabama, last year and then the 2000 in the SEC Championship, 629 yards rushing by Alabama, 172 yards running by Florida. Can't win.
Here's Rainey. Trade to Priest, number 33, and time to have another visit with Tim Brando back in New York.
Vern Gary Monty Ball has had a big night for Wisconsin. On Wisconsin, this 15-yard touchdown run is his 4th of the night. 30 carries, 151 yards as the Badgers roll, and Notre Dame doing the same to Purdue. By the way, Vern, I call Eli trouble in turn 4 goal. Back to you.
A little NASCAR reference to Eli Gold. You bet, Tim. 2nd down, under 8 to go. Handoff right side.
You know, Vern, I feel a little bad. You know, when that fumble play at the end of the half, I go, whoa, Florida caught a big break there.
Right.
If you remember that. And ironically, it might be the break of the year for Florida because as in a break as in no quarterback.
Yes.
It could be the worst break of all time. Something that you think you catch a break on, ironically, you lose your only veteran quarterback.
And Brantley
changes the whole dynamic in the East.
for the season. Yes, absolutely.
If he's out for any extended period of time, it will.
There's a handoff and nothing doing as Ed Stinson makes the tackle, number 49.
And you wonder what Charlie Weiss will do. Will he go, I can't win with this, so I'm going to go to a wildcat with Trey Burton and try to come up with something different next week?
Now, Charlie Weiss, known for his fiery personality, but very interesting. We've enjoyed chatting with him the last couple of weeks. And he said, I coach hard during the week, but I'm very calm during the game. And we saw that with John Brantley, and very sadly, as Gary said, it looks like Brantley's going to be out for a while. But Weiss said his biggest challenge was to install confidence in John Brantley again. And even Kirby Smart, the defensive coordinator for Alabama, said, I've seen Charlie Weiss's influence in that respect.
Oh, yeah, and Kirby said Kirby Smart recruited John Brantley to Alabama.
Right.
So, you know, we know what type of athlete Brantley was coming out, but, boy, discouraging. It is going to be discouraging, and Will Muschamp will have a job in front of him. He doesn't have a lot of head coaching experience. He's going to have to fall back on everything he's learned through his career to handle this situation arising right now to be the head coach of the Florida Gators.
Jalston Fowler, number 45, the sophomore, is in at running back now. Goes right. And look at him power his way out across the 35 to the 36.
Got to say something about DJ Fluker, number 76, the big right tackle for Alabama. Florida felt that they could attack Fluker. They believed that he wasn't quick enough. Now, I've watched him all game. He has handled the job. You know, he might not be to the level that you want as a #1 draft pick, but he's greatly improved from where he was last year, and he has handled the Florida speed all night tonight.
2nd down now. We're under 6 to play. Fowler comes left, breaks a tackle, 1st down, Alabama. And what's in front of Alabama now?
Yeah, and you know, who do they lose to, right? I mean, you can't believe Vanderbilt's going to beat them.
I don't think.
Ole Miss is not up to it. Now, Tennessee, do they have Hunter back? Maybe. And they got the open date. They ain't losing that one.
No. And then what's that game?
Yeah, there's a one there with LSU. That might be on their schedule until the last game. How about that at Auburn game again? That thing always turns out funny.
Yes, it does. And Jason Hunter for Tennessee is out for the year, so ruled. And boy, are they going to miss him. That's like flying with one wing.
Right.
Phillip Sims is in at quarterback now, replacing McCarron and the entire offensive line. Also left. There's a a pretty decent contingent of Alabama fans sitting right behind the Crimson Tide bench. And none of them have left, I promise you.
And just to highlight the job by that offensive line, not only have they produced running yards, 232, but also remember this, no sacks in this football game. Not one sack given up by this Alabama football team.
Sims, second down. Not this time. Fowler dropped all the way back at the 40. Well, there's John Michael Boswell is in there. There's Barrett Jones, the graduate Jeff Purinton of Alabama on the right. Barrett Jones, a delightful, calls himself a nerd, plays the violin. Went into the Scrabble championship.
He's a nerd first-round draft pick.
Yes, he is, and just a wonderful, wonderful young man. His brother Harrison is on the field, redshirt freshman, and Harrison Jones. They got on the field together last week. In the huddle, Barrett said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Coach put me in." He said, "Who do I block?" He said, "Get the guy over there." Fowler. Cyrus Quanjo, number 71, who was phenomenal left tackle prospect. Here's McCarron. How do you assess his night?
Well, everything the coaches said about him, he's come through. I don't think he's disappointed them at all, and I think the Alabama fans can rest easy that they've got a quarterback. He might not play great every game, but he can. He has the potential to be a winning quarterback and take them to where they want to go. And that's only one place. SEC championship, and the winner of that game usually plays for the national championship.
Robert Clark did not call for the fair catch, and Gray Kirkpatrick takes him down. 40-yard punt, nothing on the return. Robert Clark heads to the bench, and the player of the game, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He also caught a couple, and he just continues to impress. That's he had a modest start to the season against Kansas State.
Now I know, you don't do this anymore, but you got to wonder if Alabama doesn't take one period every game now in practice and prepare for LSU.
You think?
No slight to anybody else, but I don't see how they lose to those teams until LSU.
Mike Gillisley, number 23, and Jeff Driscoll is back on the field, having had his ankle taped. Longest run of the night was this 31-yard scamper. Nice pass, complete to Reed. And then here's where he went down, tweaked his ankle. It was wrapped, and he's back on the field. Final 2:15 to go. Gillisley. Trey DePriest, number 33, freshman linebacker out of Ohio with the tackle. Just a quick reference to the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, they won today.
Yep.
Excuse me. And they're alive. You know, I mean, South Carolina loses. That's the team they needed to lose because they lost to them.
Lost their first 2 of the season, Boise State, South Carolina.
Now, of course, South Carolina still has the tiebreaker, but life.
Third down. Gillisley. It'll be 4th down.
Number 23, Mike Gillisley, the ball carrier.
That's Vinny Sunseri, number 3, who made the tackle. Vinny Sunseri's brother Tino is the starting quarterback for Pittsburgh. Big win last night. And their dad is an assistant coach here on the staff, Sal Sunseri, who was a star at Pitt. And ironically, Sal Sunseri was on the staff at Louisiana State in 2000. He chose to depart. That created the opening, ultimately filled by Will Muschamp. Connect the dots.
David Lerner's punt rolls dead at the Alabama 40.
Well, let's update you now on the East. 2-1 for Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia. Vandy 1-1. Tennessee 0-1. Out of conference win today.
I like Georgia.
Yeah.
I really do. If I had to pick a team now, considering Brantley's injury, if it's as serious as it appears, I think Georgia's in the driver's seat.
Driver's seat, do you?
Well, you can crash.
Sure.
In the driver's seat.
Eli Gold will describe that for you. 40 guys turning left.
Well, after the first play of 7 points and then the dropped fade pass over to the outside,
right,
that's been the end of it.
And here's Phillip Sims, takes a knee.
Number 14, Phillip Sims, takes a knee.
38-10.
There's nothing tougher than to watch the visiting team take a knee on your field.
Long night will get even longer for Will Muschamp and the Florida Gators. They drop to 4-1 and lose for the 8th time in the swamp to the Alabama Crimson Tide. They last won here against Alabama in 2006, and they also won once back in '91.
Phillip Sims, takes a knee.
Nick Saban now 3-1 in the swamp. Will Muschamp, first meeting as a head coach against the man who gave him a huge opportunity at LSU. A.J. McCarron managed the game well. Trent Richardson rushed for 181. Alabama rolls 38-10. So for Gary Danielson and Tracy Wolfson, I'm Vern Lundquist saying so long from Gainesville with the final score, Bama 38-10. We will see you next week from Red Stick, Baton Rouge. Your late local news is next.